Hey, I'm Kirsty and today I'm going to go through how I use the Yamaha 120 to actually practice saxophone as a beginner. The reason I personally brought this was simply to increase the amount I can practice on saxophone without upsetting my neighbours. And aside from the volume button, the only other thing I really cared about was the keys matching that of a saxophone. Because if the skills don't transfer, then what's the point? I probably don't need to say this, but anything embouchure related, anything airflow related, these are useless, do not help. So in terms of how I'm using it, this thing is great for the scales and arpeggios that I've been neglecting. Because the time I have to practice on my actual saxophone is so limited, what I'm trying to do is anything that I consider to be saxophone admin that is really important that I do, but I just don't want to waste that precious saxophone time, I push onto this thing. I can even just like put it on volume 1, sit in front of my TV and play it so that I can get it into muscle memory. Kind of similar to that is I'm also trying to learn improvisation, and some of that is learning riffs and patterns on your saxophone. And again, it just feels like admin. It just feels like things you have to do over and over again until it hits. And then when you do get to practice it on your saxophone, like the keys are there. The only thing you have to focus on is like your embouchure and your airflow and the dynamics and things like that, and making it sound good. So the third way that I'm using this to progress is just learning more songs. I spent a couple of weeks just learning Whitney Houston's Saving All My Love for You. And Pure Imagination from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I only practice those on this, and the videos I've put up, which I will link below, just show me the first time picking up my saxophone and playing those songs to see how well it does transfer. I'm learning multiple songs that I've always wanted to play on saxophone, but just feel like I haven't necessarily had the time. The other way, and one that is particularly important to me at the moment, that I am using this to help me progress with saxophone is sight reading. I don't really want to be wasting that precious time with my actual saxophone on sight reading. I am going to be doing how I'm approaching sight reading in a separate video, so subscribe if you're interested in that. Now technically, I know you can clap along, but what this does is it holds the note. So if you're reading it, it's got something like a minute in it where you need to hold for 2, like you can do that on this thing. Clapping is obviously great for rhythm, but when you're dealing with the combination of the note and the rhythm, it takes my brain a little bit to kind of catch up. It's not something I'm finding easy at all. But with this, like, it's just more realistic. Before I get onto the bits that I don't particularly like about it, I will just touch on the fact that the convenience of this thing is huge. Some days after work, like, I just do not feel like getting my saxophone out. This literally just sits by my sofa, so I can finish work, collapse on my sofa, grab this thing, press a button, and we're away. Like, there's no getting all the saxophone pieces out, there's no lining up the reed and putting it all together, there's no warm-up and stuff like that. You just literally press the on button and you're away. It's also nice to like play in tune always, which I do not on the saxophone. So that's how I'm using it essentially, and that is why I love it, because it is helping me take all those boring admin-y things and just put it on here so that when I'm on my actual saxophone, I can just have fun. So what I don't love about it. So these aren't deal breakers, and I imagine some of them are specific to me. They are things that I've noticed, and it's only fair that I go through them. The Octave Key on this, my thumb will sit on the middle of the button, but it kind of rolls. It rolls to the side, so I end up pressing the left side of the octave button, and it feels like it's pressed, and it sounds like it's pressed. But when you play, it's not registering it. I really have to either really push on that side, or I have to move to the middle, and it's just not as comfortable for me as I want it to be. The second issue with it is the soprano style. So the neck, there's no bend. I either have to play it kind of hunched over, which hurts my neck quite a lot, or up like that, which just gets a bit annoying and tiring. It's quite awkward, and I know other people have found it awkward as well. There is another channel that I follow, which I'll link down below. It's basically got a 3D printed neck, which puts the bend in it, and it looks a lot more comfortable. Another thing I've noticed is the keys can be quite jumpy and laggy. Sometimes it plays something I didn't expect. I'm like, have I accidentally nudged a side key? Because it's obviously plastic, it's easier to hit them. I've tweaked about a little bit with it in the app and stuff. I probably need to do it a little bit more, but ultimately it doesn't really impact what I'm doing with it. I'm just using it as a practice tool. Something I've personally noticed is because it's essentially a big straw, and the mouthpiece feels a lot more open than my normal one. And I think because of that, I'm blowing more air out, which means I run out of air quicker. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, really. It's just something I've noticed. The only other thing that annoyed me a little bit was it takes 4 AAA batteries, which it has not provided, and they run out quickly. And the way to plug it in is via micro USB, which I haven't seen about in quite a while and do not own. So I couldn't play it straight out the box, and that was a bit like, oh. The other thing is there's no Bluetooth on this thing. I've got an iPhone 14 which takes lightning, as well as having to buy this cable, then had to buy a normal USB converter to a lightning. It all just feels like a lot. If you buy it, just bear that in mind. Buy yourself some batteries and a cable at the same time. So final thoughts. I am glad I brought it, even though there are some, I don't find it particularly fun to play. This is more of a means to an end for me. It just means I can progress quicker on the saxophone. But this is just one person's opinion on the internet. What it has done is double my practice time. I am progressing faster. I am learning more songs, and ultimately that's all I care about. I will see you in the next one.